Are you confused by which key performance indicators to track in your business? You're not alone. In this video, Kelly is going to explain how to avoid profit killer number 5, not identifying key performance indicators and marketing return on your investment. Here's Kelly now.
So that's really what I'm here to share with you guys today is profit killer number 5, which is, do you know your KPIs and your marketing return on investment? So let's just start at the beginning. What is a KPI? That's a business term that's tossed around a lot, and it means key performance indicators. Similar to if you're driving a car, you may like it to have, I don't know, a speedometer, right? So you don't get a speeding ticket. Or maybe you want a navigation on it so you can get directions to go somewhere. These key performance indicators and measurable goals and return on investment that I'm going to share with you today is like finally putting into your practice a speedometer and a navigator. And we all know it's hard to live without those things now, right? Before it was a lot of trial and error, try this, tweak that, and learn as you go, or go get your MBA. Well, with all the information available to us, you guys can learn how to do this and make sure it's happening for your practice so that you never spend another dollar again on marketing and wonder if it worked or not. And I hear that complaint every single day with my clients. I'm spending money on marketing, but I'm not sure that it's working. And I don't want to be spending good money after bad. How long do I have to try this before I know it doesn't work? And I'm going to give you those answers today. Number 1, I'm going to teach you what to track. What are the KPIs we're spending the time on tracking? I'm going to teach you why you want to track those, and more importantly, how do you track them, or how do you get your digital marketing vendors to track those? Maybe you have a website company that you're working with, maybe a social media management company, depending on how you're structured. But I'm going to share with you guys how can you actually know if your marketing dollars are working. I'm going to talk about the ROI that would tell you that this is a good investment and to pour more money on it. I'll tell you really insightful things like when you're measuring and things are working, spend more money on those things that are working and cut back on the things that are not. Marketing, just to remind you, is get, keep, and grow patients. The best thing we can do for our med spas, plastic surgery practices, integrated medical practices is to increase your retention, because it takes 5 times more money to get a new client than to keep a client. Studies show that your clients who are existing clientele will spend 67% more with you than a new client because they already trust you and they're loyal to your brand. So why is it that we shy away from marketing to our existing client base in lieu of getting new clients? I've shared with you guys many times that you will see practices really create money towards getting new leads, because when asked what do you need to do to be more successful, 9 people out of 10 people that are business owners of practices will say, well, I need more patients. What we really don't need is more patients. We need a higher retention rate, we need cross promotions, and we need to communicate with our current patients on a regular basis about what we offer and our promotions and our events, because they will refer friends. And our highest conversion ratio is when a doctor or a patient refers a client to you to get services done. That is your highest closing consultation or lead type. So when you are thinking about key performance indicators, I want to walk through what are those? What key performance indicators really apply to our industry? And it's going to be, what is your average cost per lead? What is your conversion rate of different lead types? What is your consultation closing rate? What is your marketing return on investment? You'll hear that term ROI quite a bit. So you need at least a 4x return on investment for your marketing spending to make sense of it. So for every $1,000 you spend on marketing, it needs to create $4,000 in sales just to break even, because you've got about a 25% bottom line if you're doing things right. So that being said, how would you know what to spend more on and what to spend less on if you're not measuring these things? Well, the good news is it's easier now than ever to really measure these things because of our digital marketing atmosphere that we're in. If you're currently working with a website company for SEO and you're not getting monthly reports, you really need to consider pausing your marketing budget until you can get good reports. And what do you want on those reports? I do not think you should spend any marketing dollars until you can measure the return on investment. That means, for example, if you're advertising something for a consultation or for an offer, you have a unique pixel that identifies them, so you know where they went through the system. When you have your system correctly set up, you will know that a consultation came from your email drips. You will know that a consultation or sale came from a Facebook messenger that went to your website and requested a consultation. You can track from every funnel. So if you're using advanced technologies like funnels to get leads in the door, you automatically know where those come from. Now, what about the difference between, say, paid social, which is the pop-up ads that come on your Instagram or your Facebook, and AdWords or keywords or pay-per-click, which coincidentally are all the same thing? Google AdWords, pay-per-click, keyword advertising, that's all the same animal. And that is when you search for a word like Botox near me, it's going to pop up the paid ads that are spending the most for that term, that are near me demographically as my choices. And that's going to be above any of the SEO organic results. So you do need SEO organic results. You need to be active on social media 5 times a week. You need to be emailing your clients once a week. Hopefully you've got some videos on your website, and maybe you're starting to do some educational videos on YouTube. All of these things together are going to drive more leads to you, but done are the days when you try to measure this through, how did you hear about us? Was it our billboard, our sign? Was it our website? Now we need to, on those intake forms, we're asking, did you see us on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube? Did you find us on a search term? You need to know where those things are coming from, but more importantly, install the speedometer on your car. Your website provider should absolutely be able to track how many leads you get, exactly which area they came from, and then it's up to you on the POS side to see how many of those people purchased. So if you are going to do paid advertising, or if you spend any money on marketing, meaning do you even have a website? Most people is yes. That's where you don't want to spend any more money until you can find out what your current spend, your current money is doing. So asking that website company to use the UTM parameters to identify where every single lead has come from so that you know where to spend more money. Some practices are advanced enough to utilize paid social, and they have a really good funnel in place to convert and warm up those leads and then see them in consultations. Other practices are much better off with a pay-per-click or a keyword search where they don't get as many leads, but they convert so much higher. So what are those KPIs or those conversion ratios? If someone calls into your facility, you should be booking 1 out of every 2. You should have a 50% conversion rate to appointment. If you are credentialing your practice, credentialing your providers, asking benefit-driven questions, you will book this consultation. And if you don't, you didn't wow them and they're just calling your competitors. So wow them or lose them. That's why I've been really focused on consultation conversion, phone skills at the last webinar, and we are continuing to teach that through our conversion course, but that is so critical. If you're spending money to get the phone to ring or to get the leads to come in, and you're not capitalizing on them, you're not converting them, you're not responding. And yes, we do a secret shopper program, and many times we do part of that on our new clients just to see where they're at. And unfortunately, I hate to tell you, but it's not fabulous. So your key performance indicators: are you responding to every online inquiry within 15 minutes? If you're not, put your name below or leave me a message and I'll tell you how to do that. Maybe you don't want to admit who you are. You can IM us. But there are ways to systemize this. Everything that I teach is all about scaling and systemization and doing things as efficiently as possible so that you can keep a lean team and grow your profitability. So you might think, oh, do I really need to set revenue goals? Yes, you need to set goals so that you measure performance, because measured performance improves. That's been business 101 for the last 20 or 30 years, right? So behavior that's measured improves. So what is your real closing ratio? Now, people will guess at this a lot, but it's not a guess. You look at the number of consults you did in a month, the number you closed, or in a quarter, divide the number of closed consults by the total number you did, and that is your closing ratio. It is not a guesstimate, it's a real number. If it is below 50%, you need consultation training stat. We need to triage that. If you're in the 60 to 70 range, you're doing pretty good. The highest that I really see people actually get when they're tracking is about an 80 to an 85%. Now you might wonder, how important is patient financing and how many people are medically denied? For those of you who don't know Projected Growth Consulting, we do on-site events in about 50 spas or 50 med spas and practices every single month, except for during 2020. And we measure how many people RSVP, how many people attend, how many people consult, and how many people are unable to be sold to due to financial denial or a medical denial. And I want to share with you that that is a 10% or less ratio after doing thousands of events. So if you have a high ratio of people saying they can't get financing, you should know that that might be their nice way of breaking up with you. It's not you, it's me. Because that is the oldest trick in the book to easily get out of a commitment, is just like, oh gosh, I didn't realize it was this much money. I need to talk to my significant other. That is a polite way of saying, hey, you know, I've come in, I've checked this out. I'm not that impressed with the facility or the service or perhaps the providers. It could be any number of things. It could be a combination of things. It could be really small details that you can fix quite readily. If you want a secret shopper program, let us know and we can give you more information on that. But that is a nice way to look at it from the outside. So we've talked about closing ratios, conversion ratios, different lead types and what they should convert at, what you should ask your website company or your social media companies to measure. It's not reach, it's engagement. It's what's happening, because you spend all that money to get the phone to ring or a consult to come in, and that's what you do that for. Now with promotions, if you work with us or look at our promotions a lot, our cross promotions are very vague because advertising is to make the phone ring. The contests of the month are created to improve your engagement so you get your word out to more people. And then lastly, you know, your website is the information there that should be driven on conversions and call to actions. And that's something that's missing on a lot of websites. So when you interview or talk to your existing vendor that's helping you with your website, you want to look at how to make your website a conversion-based website. You need to make sure it's mobile enabled. Now what that means is you need to look at it on your mobile phone and make sure it pulls up nicely. If you've got really big photos and things like that, you typically are going to take those off your mobile version because it will slow your upload and get people frustrated, and they'll move on to the next one. Okay, so some other things that are really nice KPIs to know is, on average, how many people do you see a month? What is your average ticket for services? What is your average ticket for retail? It's important for you to run reports like your top 20 selling retail products. It's important for you to know that most practices do offer retail commission of 10%, and your goal is that 10% of your income needs to come through retail. And you might think, why is that? Retail's got a 50% cost of goods, like injectables. People shy away from these big cost of goods, you know, the cost to render the service. But the profit is so strong that it outweighs that. But why do you want to sell retail? Because for each additional product they buy from you, their retention rate goes up exponentially. It's the same effect with services. So the more crossover of services that you can get people to do, the more loyal they are. That brings us to a membership. If you can create a membership, that will help even more. How do you create a membership? How do you figure out how to price a membership? Well, you look at your KPIs. You run your top clients from the amount they spent to the least spending client, and you look at that top 20% and look at what they're spending. That's how you create your membership. You come up with a way that, okay, they're going to spend this much anyway, but what if they spent that much and they got a lot more value for it? If you're needing help with a membership, you can reach out to us, because there are several different ways to do memberships, and they are very, very effective, and they definitely move the KPIs in the right direction. You know, again, measuring is easier than ever. We can put a pixel, we can put a tracker, we can use funnels. There is no excuse for not getting reports monthly from your website company. Now, here's the thing. You have to interpret those results and know if they're good or bad. So the first couple times, I would really recommend that you have them walk you through it. And when they tell you what your bump rate is, or your bounce rate, or they tell you what your conversion rate is to the consult form, your question is, what number am I trying to beat? What's a good conversion ratio? For example, if you send out emails and over 20% get opened, that's a successful campaign. If you get over a 2% opt-in, meaning they click on the offer and look at it more and maybe purchase, 2% is the goal. When you look at pay-per-click leads to come in and convert, you're trying to get 10 to 20% of them converted. When you look at pay-per-click, we want 50% conversion because they're a more expensive lead, they're higher qualified, okay? So that's really critical to know. So let's just talk about, because most of you guys are not really managing your SEO and your paid social, I want to give you some information so that you feel confident in asking your provider to give you the details that you need. And this is an area that I see people are not confident. And whenever we're not confident in an area, we try to avoid it, which is why we try to avoid things like expense review, expense management, KPIs, looking at staff, making sure they are creating the right multiple to justify their salary. These KPIs of what your expenses and conversions and labor costs should be are invaluable to you, because you need to know how good can it get. And if you've already achieved the best, you don't need to waste any more energy on there, but you need to go to the next area where you can make a difference in your business. And like I say, the best way to do that is profit-based tweaks, which is what we're talking about. If you're going to spend money, let's make sure it is doing something. For example, with our company, we know where every book funnel lead comes from. We know where people come from when they sign up for our courses. We know when you jump from Facebook or Instagram into one of our offers. We have to know that, because it's all about A/B testing and people responding to your offer. And once you get something converting well, that's when you put the budget on. So you just spend a little bit of money trying things. Once you figure out what works, that's when you add the frosting or the fuel to the fire, the frosting to the cake, the fuel to the fire, okay? So if you guys have listened to me before, I'm all about profitability, and that's not because I am a money hungry grubber. It's because people don't understand that the money, the sales that comes in is not what the owner gets at all. In our industry, we're lucky to have a 15 to 25% bottom line. So for every $100 in, we might have $25 left, and then we pay the taxes on that. That's why profitability is almost more important than your revenue, because we have to understand the cost of what it takes to sell these different things so that we make our mix of services in a way that we get enough revenue from those services that are lower cost, combined with the higher cost of goods like your injectables and retails, to make it all work, okay? So that's why we do cross promotions instead of discounts, because we get to sell deeper and more areas, which, by the way, when you create these cross promotions right, you are giving someone a more of a result, or a longer lasting result, or a quicker result when you combine different things, like a peel with a hydrofacial, or even a peel with your injectables, or a hydrofacial with your injectables, so that they get some instant or fairly immediate gratification, and you're enhancing the result that they're trying to get anyway. After doing years and years and years of consults with every age person known to man, the same questions are asked all the time. What can I do to get my results faster? How can I speed up my downtime? How can I extend my results? And how can I optimize my results? That's what they want to know. By the time a client comes into a med spa, they're ready to spend money. They've looked up all the stuff on RealSelf and they know what the prices are. What they're looking for is someone that gives them the confidence to say, this is where I want to be, and I want this provider, and I know they're going to do the best job for me, and I feel like this is a good value for my money. That is the wow we're looking for, okay? Now, we talked last time about, on our last webinar, we talked all about lead conversions and those kinds of things. So if you are paying for marketing and you're paying to create leads, don't do it without a speedometer. You do need a monthly report. If they don't have a current report, give them 4 weeks to get that. When you start a new marketing program, you need to give it 90 days to see if it's really working, so don't give up too soon. Don't do radio if you can only afford 2 months. If you can't afford 6 months of one of these different types of marketing, don't do it, okay? It's not long enough. Now, when I've said marketing before, the first step is a good, solid, conversion-based website with offers to opt in. Not, do you want our newsletter? No, no one really wants your newsletter. but they might enter a gift certificate contest of the month. If you give away a $250 gift certificate randomly to one of your new visitors every single month, how many more emails and phone numbers do you think you'd get? Well, I can tell you it is a big amount, because we do this with so many of our clients, and it's amazing. Then they're opt-in. Then you can send them your offers. You can send them your tutorials. You can send them your announcements. This is the way to go. Same thing with a contest of the month. Why do we do these? Well, you give away one thing. Maybe you give away $300 worth of Botox. It costs you $150, but you get 200, 300, 400 people entering your contest. That is now your direct mailing list to market your toxins and fillers. It's that simple, but it's all about the details, the systemization, and the use of this data that you get. So don't spend money until you can measure the results. Put it on hold. If your website company needs to create a report, fine. They should be able to do that in 4 weeks. So what you want to know is, where is every lead coming from, and where does it go next? So where does that contact form come from, and what is the rate of it getting contact at your front desk? Whether or not you have a dashboard is irrelevant. You don't have to have a fancy dashboard to track these things. These are the UTM parameters that they should have installed already on your website and in the back end. Do not run a promotion that you can't track. One of the easiest things people used to love to do was a promotion with a trackable phone number. And the reason why everyone loved that 800 number tracking kind of thing is you knew exactly how many people responded to that offer. But let me just say one thing. When we ask, where did you hear about us? And people fill that in on a form, they kind of remember one of the last places that they heard about us. That does not take into account the rule of 7, which has been a marketing rule forever. People typically need to hear things on average 7 times before they respond. That's why you have an online or an on-hold loop video, audio, I'm all tongue-tied, on your on-hold. You want something telling your cross-promotion and your contest of the month. That's a time to talk. Here you've got your Facebook and Instagram, you've got different videos and posts and educational things and a video of someone getting a treatment. Then you've got your emails that go out once a week talking about your promotions or showing a video or a testimonial. On top of that, you've got your written blogs that you may use on social and on your website to get better SEO. You've got that monthly SEO working, and then you graduate into different links, link trees, and different ways to identify where these links are coming from. I'm not going to get too technical because I don't think you guys are doing this yourself. What you need to know is you need to know the questions. Where are my leads coming from? And then you track your return on investment. So there are new programs every day called SAS programs that are basically tracking your advertising responses, okay? So you can definitely get these numbers, and it is your job as a consumer to ask for them. Not all the website companies or social media companies want to provide these. For example, we don't do reach we report reach, but what we're all about is engagement, because that's what drives up reach and that's what creates new customers. These are important things to ask your providers. So I can't say it enough. If they cannot generate this data, that's a red flag. Give them a little time. But if they are not willing to generate these numbers, I wouldn't be confident in probably partnering with that vendor. It is a partnership. It's a dance. It's an A/B testing and tweaking that continues on and on. Even once you get a funnel up and running and it's converting well, it may hit a snag and have to be rethought and rewritten. Copywriting is critical with NLP programming. And this is the way of marketing, and there is no way around it. And you definitely, in order to be a top producer in this industry, you absolutely have to embrace the digital marketing assets and functionalities, as well as your social media platforms, because there really is no way to avoid it at this point. This is the way to be advertising to your clients. So as a summary here, I want to leave you guys with knowing it is all measurable. You should be getting reports. If you need more coaching on what to ask for, we're happy to chat with you. And if you haven't got my book yet, I really recommend that you grab the Top 10 Profit Killers. This is written so that each profit killer has an assessment, so you can rate how you're doing and decide if you need to focus on that area. And then it's got an implementation checklist of step-by-step what you do to fix that challenge. So we do offer the book for free on our website, projectedgrowthconsulting.com. We also have free resources on there. So jump on to the website, get the free book offer. It's got all these worksheets through here, which will really help you. And I just want to reiterate, knowing your numbers and embracing the number side of your business will be the best thing you ever do for your profitability. And it feels so much better to drive a car that has a speedometer versus one that you don't, especially if you're driving through a speed trap or something, which sometimes it feels like we really are. So understand your numbers, know what to ask, get your reports, and make sure that you're getting at least a 4x return on your investment to marketing. And for more help, just reach out and schedule a complimentary consultation, and we're here to help you grow your profitability.
Thanks, Kelly. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification icon to be notified every time we post a new video. And don't forget to grab your free copy of Kelly's book and all of the resources we've provided. You can find all of those links in the description below.